Dude, I recorded a whole podcast once and forgot to hit record. Like the whole thing. We talked for an hour and I was like, oh shit, I forgot to hit record. So this is not a big deal.
Okay. Hi, Moon. You are Leon Peter Blanda. So
Yes.
where the Blanda come?
Blanda is Italian.
So your fathers are Italian.
My mom and dad, we're all of Italian descent. My great-grandfather was the one who actually did the big move from Italy to the
America.
States. Yeah, and so everybody else.
You never been Italia?
No, I've never
Never?
been outside of the States.
Oh,
I know. I'm ashamed. Don't look at me like that, Ray. I'm
Wow.
ashamed of myself.
I know, but when you say like that, United States have beautiful places that I never imagined that maybe you don't need to go out. But
Nah, I don't think that's true.
but
Yeah.
listen, for me traveling is the reason that I am who I am,
Right.
because I know other cultures and other people and other mindsets. It made me realize maybe if I'm in pain in that moment and I travel, whatever, and I feel like grateful, like why I was, upset with that stupid little thing,
Right.
and you start to appreciate more life. But that's okay. You have plenty of time. You're young.
Well, I'm not that young, but yeah, I got
You're
you.
young. You're young. So you don't speak Italian.
I don't speak Italian.
You speak Spanish.
I don't speak Spanish. I took Spanish in school, but I don't remember any of it. I didn't focus. I was bad at school.
So your book. So you are here because you write the High Moon. Okay, and I'm very glad that you made it. I see very big creativity here. But before I start this, I want to know more about you before you create this, because when we create something, a lot of things need to happen. Even this podcast arrive here. A lot of things need to happen to make it true. So, who was you before you start this?
Before I did High Moon, I was I did stand-up comedy. I've been a stand-up comedian for since 2010. Before that, I was a musician when I was a kid. I picked up a guitar when I was about 11, and had my first band when I was 12, and I did that.
12.
Yeah, we weren't good, but we were a band. There was a few of us.
Maybe you do it because it was more in the air in that moment. Maybe
Yeah.
it was like a lot of bands. You don't see a lot of bands now, but it
Well,
was
when
a
I was a-
moment.
When I was a kid, you didn't. So there was we were the only band, and like musician rock band type thing.
Rock
And
band.
I'm from a small town called Pearl River, Louisiana, which is right by Slidell.
Yeah.
So when I was a teenager, there were no other bands. And then when I was in my 20s or so, there was a shit ton of bands, or a bunch of bands. I'm sorry. Can you curse on here?
Yeah, of
Oh,
course.
okay.
This is very liberal.
Oh, okay, right on. There was a shit ton of bands. And
Oh, maybe you don't know it was band because you was in Pearl River.
yeah, that's true too. Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing. There wasn't a lot of bands in
Yeah.
Pearl River.
Who was your inspiration that moment in bands? Like, what do you listen? Queen?
Oh, yeah. When I was a kid,
Yeah.
I mean, Guns N' Roses and Metallica were like huge when I was coming out of junior high. So like the Black Album and Use Your Illusion. I don't know if you're a big.
I'm start listen like 80 music last year.
Okay.
And
How old are you?
No, why?
I just want to know.
What we need to say?
Because
that?
I think you're like, I want to say 33, 32.
No, 36.
Okay.
My birthday was 2 weeks ago, 36.
Yeah,
I was 35
you're a
few weeks
young
ago.
man. The 80s were like before you were born.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I start to listen that music, and I listen like very carefully, and everyone was out of this world. Like they was like in the future of music.
Right.
Because now it's very hard to do that because everything is so digital now.
Yeah. There's not a lot of authentic.
And then in that moment, it was everything instrumental. Even they create sounds with doing this, they create.
Yeah.
And, right now, my favorite is Scorpion. Like,
oh, yeah.
the way he sings.
Okay.
He sings perfect for me.
Yeah.
Scorpions
I like
is
Scorpions.
so big.
Yeah. They're like internationally huge.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So, who was your inspiration that moment Sorry, I take your air.
No. I like hearing that too. I like the Scorpions. They weren't. I liked. What was that? Winds of Change. Yeah, that whistle. Beautiful. Yeah.
Genius.
Yeah, you could whistle back then. Nowadays, you can't whistle. You got to whistle into a mic. You digitize it. You loop it.
Yeah, it's very different. So for that moment, you need to have talent, like real talent.
Yeah. I mean, I say yes, and that is a very old man thing to say. I also think that nowadays, your kids can make an album in their bedroom, and that's been happening for the past 20 or so years. Like, it keeps getting better. So, like, the good thing is, like, all the gatekeepers' power has been reduced to nothing. Look at what you didn't wait for somebody to give you a television show. You're like, I'm going to have my own talk show.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a nice set, couple of yellow chairs, couple of nice microphones, beautiful camera, some naked ladies standing behind there with drugs and yeah. Oh, okay. Well, we're not supposed to talk about them. Whatever. Okay. Sorry, ladies.
No naked ladies.
No. All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, they have their parts covered, but they're pretty much naked. It's okay. This is TV. That's what television's all about.
It's more easy. Yeah. I was thinking about that. Like today, every day that I come here, it's like, I give people an opportunity, but I give an opportunity myself to create because I love create. I love this. I have this type of conversation of creativity, of success or failing or struggles. I love create. So yeah, I don't wait for have a channel, but I have my own channel.
Right. Well, the success is in the making it.
Yeah.
Right? It's the getting off your ass and like getting up every morning and like, oh, I have work. I also have this project that I care about. Like that's success is like doing it, I think. And you have to think that sometimes to get you through the parts where you're like, nobody else is paying attention.
Yeah.
You know?
So who was your inspiration in that moment? So you write your own songs?
I did write my own songs.
Oh my God.
We wrote our own songs. We recorded at a little recording studio in Pearl River that they just reopened, Mohawk Recording Studio.
They open like for work or for a museum?
No, for musicians to go in and record. It's like a working recording studio. Gatemouth Brown, who was a famous blues guy from down here, he used to record there. So if you know blues music, Gatemouth, he was a local legend guy. But anyway, so yeah, we'd record there. The inspiration when we were doing that was like Pearl Jam and Alice in Chains and then I got older, and it was, other stuff. I started digging Jeff Buckley and The Cure and, different stuff like that. And then I stopped playing music when I was like in my 20s and started doing other stuff.
This is a very hard decision. Even, a lot of musicians, even they are failing, they don't want to stop.
Yeah.
And
which
continue.
Can be a little sad sometimes.
Exactly. It's like, wow, I'm not making it. I need food on my table. I need to quit, but I don't want to lose this dream. And they stuck,
Yeah, I think you have to
make the decision.
Well, I think you have to reframe it. I think so. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a rock star, right? I wanted to be Axl Rose. I wanted to be the lead singer of the Scorpions. I wanted to be on stage with 1,000 people, looking at
dream,
me.
live it, that dream. Yeah.
And when that didn't happen, it was discouraging. But also, like, I did find that I just like being creative. Like, I don't just like being creative for people, which I do like doing. Like, that's why I like doing stand-up, is because you're in front of people constantly and you're working your ideas out in front of people. So I think you just have to reframe your goals. If you're looking for fortune and glory and you don't get fortune and glory, then you're going to be disappointed. But if you're just looking to make something that will perhaps connect with somebody, anybody, even if it's just one person, then if you make it and somebody reacts to it, that's a success.
Yeah.
You're an artist. You made art that affected the world. It didn't turn you into a millionaire.
Yeah.
But maybe that person will always reference that piece of art for that time period in their life. Like, I was bummed out and I heard this song and I wasn't bummed out anymore. So that's the song that I remember pulled me out of that funk or whatever. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
So I think you have to reframe your goals. If you're just going, like I said, for the fortune and glory, then and you don't get it, you're going to be disappointed, and you're going to be bitter, and you're going to be angry.
It's beautiful that you are talking like that because that is your mindset now.
No,
But
no, I'm bitter and angry.
But you make your decision, it was another person.
Yeah, yeah. No,
How was like the transition?
What's that?
The transition of say, oh, I need to focus on another thing, like let's stop music.
Well, I think it was like I floundered for a little while trying to find something that I wanted to do, and I wrote
art.
Yeah, or
around
just to,
performing,
just to do something to whatever music was feeding me from the time I was a kid until my mid-20s. I wasn't getting it anymore.
Yeah,
and I had to find it somewhere else. So I wrote a screenplay that we filmed a couple of days on, but it kind of fell apart. We didn't have a budget or anything.
A screenplay is like a movie?
Yeah, like a full-length 90-minute comedy. It was a romantic comedy. And then I was a second lead in this really terrible indie film. It was like a ghost cop drama thing that was really bad. And like I said, you can Google it if you want to see it. I will not say the name of it. And then after that, I started going to open mics and doing stand-up, and that was like a revelation.
So you think you are funny? Before the stand comedy, you was always like doing jokes outside stage.
Yeah, you do bits with your friends.
Exactly.
Yeah, or you quote movies that makes everybody laugh, or you get a cadence for like how jokes are told, and yeah, you're either funny or you're not. I think. I think some people are funny, and some people. Everybody has a sense of humor, but not everybody can translate it. Like they can understand it and laugh at the joke, but they can't necessarily go out and write a joke and tell a joke in a way that's.
So I don't know if it was from Jim Carrey that quote like the comedians outside comedy, they suffer a lot. The comedy comes for a space of pain. What do you think about that? That's something that I see from Jim Carrey. I don't know how real it can be because every person's perspective of happiness on pain is different. But
Yeah.
what is your, as a comedian, you think comedy come for a dark place of human being
I think.
or get out of the pain?
I think for some people, yeah. I think for a lot of. I know for me, it was when I was a kid. I was writing from like I had to be in a dark place to write something, But I also think after a certain point, I think it's all about human growth.
Yeah.
You can write from a place of pain, or you can write from a place of experience. So you've had the pain, or you've had the joy, or whatever it is in the past. Now you're a more centered person, but you can still reference that feeling. But I think you have had to have felt all of the human emotions in a at least a I don't know how to put this. I think you've had to, I think you have
I'm digging.
But I think you have to have felt everything. You have to have felt
Yeah.
like extreme joy, extreme pain, extreme lust.
Yeah, be
extreme,
an emotional person.
Yeah, and I think you've had to have had experiences in life to like relate to other people. I think that's and not that everybody does it on the same level, but you have to have had a little taste of something. Like my grandmother died, your sister died. We can relate on
Yeah.
this thing. I've got a big bonus at work. You just started your new business.
Yeah.
Like we can relate. Everybody's had a little something. I found a $20 bill on the ground. You use all that stuff from the very minute to the big, like painful things, and then you just focus it into art.
So when do you start in the, how's the place name in New Orleans?
House of Blues.
The House of Blues.
Mm-hmm.
When you start there, that was a very big step for you. Like they contract you or they give you like a gig and then that convert in a contract. How that process was?
I used to date a lady who worked there.
Yeah.
And they were looking for a comedy show, and we were still friends. And she said, "Hey, I know this dummy who can host your comedy show for you." And that was it. I went in, I met the guy who was running the restaurant at
Yeah.
the time where they were going to hold the comedy show.
Yeah.
And he just hired me on the spot, and I went for almost a decade of just
Wow. So you have your
2
regular
shows a week.
days?
I had
shows.
Tuesdays and Thursdays were from the beginning. It
Oh.
sometimes fluctuated to different days of the week, but Tuesdays I'd run an open mic where anybody can come out and perform on a House of Blues stage. And then Thursdays I'd have book shows where comedians would do longer sets, and you might see somebody from television or Saturday Night Live or Comedy Central or
Wow, amazing.
and they would stop in and do a set for, people just hanging out for the comedy show.
So how many minutes it was your set?
It just depended on what I was doing. I would do anywhere from, I'd do a 10-minute host set, and then I've toured, and a friend and I have done hour-long, full sets.
Wow. It's very hard. Two times a week is very hard for creative perspective. If you are writing everything your own.
That's the beauty. The beauty of comedy is you're writing at home, but the only way to tell if a joke works is to get on stage and tell it.
And then
you can either record it, or you hear how people are responding, and then you adjust, and then the next week or the next time you go up on stage, you say it with that little bit of adjustment, and then the joke's a little bit better.
So you repeat the jokes.
Oh yeah,
sometimes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you make it's just like a band. You write a good song, you're gonna play that. You're touring with that album. You got these 10 songs that you just put out. That's the tour that you're doing. So you're doing those 10 songs. The only thing with comedy is that at the end of that tour, you throw away those songs and you're starting all new songs to do for the next tour. But yeah, what you would do is you'd write a bunch of jokes, you'd get to an hour or whatever. This is traditionally, you'd record that hour, then you'd start over from scratch, writing all new jokes to build up to an hour. Because you can't go back on tour and then tell that same that first hour again. You have to keep creating material. Luckily for me, I don't have any material like that's out there, so all of my material is still.
So when you have your dream to be a rock star, you remember you told me that being on stage.
I vaguely.
Do you have the same vision with stand-up comedy?
I think I did for a while. Now I think now I think of all of it as like the book comedy. I still do a little music in my comedy to kind of bring people in. So I think now I'm using all of it just to create, just to be.
No, what I'm referring is doing more stage in United States, like I don't know how you say in English, like when you go state by state.
Tour. When you take a tour.
Take a tour.
I have done that. I have toured. I would like to do another tour. I think with this next book that I'm coming out with, I might do a little comedy tour to promote the book. So
when this book released?
That one came out in 2022.
Okay. So when we was in the first recording, you was telling me like House of Blues stopped because the pandemic.
Yep.
So you was happy because you were spending time with the kids.
Yep.
And 2 years later, you write this book.
Mm-hmm.
And take you 1 year.
Yeah. Took about a year to write it. Yeah.
So when you have this is fiction.
It is.
When you have this fiction mindset, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have a lot of imagination, right? And where you go to see that imagination to start writing, you know what I mean? Like, what is your place to go? You look like you like quiet. You like the beach. You like the lake. You like a dark room. What is your your art mentality? Go to.
My little method is I sit on the porch with my laptop or a notebook. I keep my phone away from me, and I have a cup of coffee, and that's what I do until I can't do it anymore, until I have something else to do in the day, whether it be to pick up the kids from school or an obligation outside of that. So that's what I try to do is I'll get up in the morning.
And sometimes don't kick in some moment if that's when you prepare, right? But let's say you are like doing something and
an idea
come. What you do in that moment pick the phone, record. What you do in emergency that in that matter?
Okay. For stand up, I have a little notebook
Yeah.
that I keep with me.
Always. You
yeah.
have it here?
I don't have it on me right now. It's in the car, actually. No, actually, it's at the house. I left it at the house, and I was like, I can't turn around and get it. So I have a little, and I have a stack of these notebooks now from just the past few years. So I do that. I'll jot it down. Sometimes I'll record it on my phone. If it's a story idea, like the book,
Yeah.
I'll have like a little spark of an idea, and I'll kind of just let that marinate for a little bit, and I'll just kind of think about the characters, think about the story, think about what I want them to do, maybe wrestle with it, not know what I want them to do, and then when stuff starts clicking, I start kind of writing it out, and the first draft is always terrible.
Terrible.
Yeah, it's awful. It's like nobody should read it, but you got it all out there, and then you can go back and start looking through it and picking the stuff that's good, tossing out the stuff that's terrible.
This is your first book that you write?
That is the first book that I've ever written, yes.
But you have like thousands of notes outside the book.
For that book?
No. Like you write books, like I say, notebooks, like in your jokes. You've been a writer for too many years, because if you start writing your song at 12,
yeah, I lost all those notebooks.
And you write your joke for stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
So this is your official book, but you write a lot outside this book.
Yeah, like just jotting down stuff. But I mean, I go through phases. Like I'll go through a phase where I'm writing for months, every day I'm writing. And then I'll go through a couple of months of not writing anything, trying to write something and coming up with nothing. And it's when I get the spark of the idea that's gonna become the project.
Yeah.
Like the main, like that. Like I've tried to write books before and not finished them. Yeah. I've started 1,000 books.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I've written the first chapter of like, I don't know,
different story.
Yeah, different. Yeah, things that I thought would be my first novel.
Wow.
And that thing came out in full. Like it came out every day. The characters just went through the story from beginning to end.
So how many characters is this one? If we can say?
There's 4 main characters.
Okay.
There's a guy named DeVille, who is a cowboy, and he's also got a little secret to him that I don't want to reveal. And he is partnered up with a young Native American girl.
Amazing.
And she has a secret as well, which is dark, and you have to read the book to find out. Somewhere along the way, they meet a gentleman who's a giant who was crafted by a scientist and brought back from the dead, which is a famous story. He's that monster living in the Old West now with his bride, who was also created by the same scientist from literature, Frankenstein. So there's that. It's all that, and it's in the Old West, and then these characters have hit some problems, and the U.S. government is creating a secret base in the Nevada desert, and so there's like conspiracy theory there's conspiracy theory stuff, there's Western, there's action. It's been compared to a John Carpenter film. I don't know if you're a fan of John Carpenter, but he did like Big Trouble in Little China, The Thing. So it's a mixture of different genres. And
when you develop characters, and I also asked Wanda was here too. Shout out to Wanda. Do you imagine your characters, like the faces, the hair, the clothing? She told me yes. That was her answer. She imagined her characters when she writes.
I do imagine them, but they don't come like all at once. Like I don't get the full picture of them until I'm pretty deep into the story. I kind of have an idea of who they are.
So you don't do sketch?
No, I'm not good at outlining. Sometimes they're like a full like person with and different sets of attributes that they're just a full person. They have everything. But most of the time they're kind of an idea of a person, and they evolve as the story evolves. I kind of sometimes find out about them just as I'm
Really?
kind of writing. Yeah, because I don't.
So you focus a lot on the story more than anything.
It just depends because once the character, sometimes the character comes into focus, and then the story will change, and I have to go back and maybe fix some things that I wrote before because the character has now presented themselves to be this type of person or or have these things that they care about that maybe I didn't know that they cared about in the beginning, and so I have to kind of move things around.
So you start to know more your character.
Yeah.
Wow, in a sense.
Yeah.
And you create the character, but the character start to talk to you or something like that?
Yeah, kind of. Or I start to see
Whoa.
them more as, the more interactions they have with each other, the more interactions they have with the scene that I'm creating.
Oh
You
my
can
God,
come
this
up with
is
like a fight,
fantastic.
right? Like you've seen a fight in a movie, right?
Yeah.
So you know the guy's going to punch, but then there has to be a story to the fight. Like he's throwing them through the window because they have to get into the next place. So how do we get from A to B? And then when you find out why they go from A to B, you're like, oh, he fights like this because he's had this in the past. Like he's got a bad arm, so he's going to hit him with his left shoulder. And you find out these things about your character, or at least I do.
Yeah, yeah.
That that change the focus of maybe the whole story. Sometimes just little scenes and things, but yeah, it's called discovery.
I feel
writing,
like I'm inside your brain right now. It's very beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
Because
man.
be creative and being an artist is not easy. You need to be born with that.
Yeah.
And somebody have it, but they know some people, they don't do nothing about that like this. They start, deal with things about life. They are forced to leave the art. But there are people like you that, they know they have the art and they start to, put the seed and start to work more in the art and freedom and art and create and keep creating. You tell me you have a lot of notebooks that you write. You start thousands books before this one. So it's like you don't stop because the art don't let you. So sometimes you are maybe alone and the brain is like pumping ideas.
Oh yeah.
It happened to me, but in other areas.
Right.
And I know it's a beautiful. I don't know how to live another way.
Yeah.
It's like the brain is pumping ideas all day long.
And you feel bad when it's not pumping ideas.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I suck.
Yeah, I'm
not,
in trouble.
I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
maybe that last
I'm
idea was my last idea.
I'm broken.
Yeah.
So when I was telling you that I'm fan that the music of the 80s, right?
Right.
So
Scorpions.
I'm doing the same with the TV shows and movies.
What are you into right now?
And I was telling Wanda, because Wanda was the last one that I interviewed here, that I'm into Seinfeld now.
Oh yeah.
I never see Seinfeld. I don't know. It was a recommendation from my friend Patrick. Shout out to Patrick. He tell me, watch Seinfeld. It's very old. Maybe you don't born yet, but watch it.
Yeah.
Wow.
You enjoying it? Okay.
I'm enjoying.
Are you starting it from the beginning?
From
and
the
watching all the way
beginning,
Where are
the
you at
beginning.
now? What episode?
I'm in the season 8.
Oh, all right.
And I know from season 4 is when I think they really connect, they really level up, and they're like in the zone.
Yeah. Well, I heard you talking. Who was it you were talking to about how TV shows don't do that anymore?
Exactly. It was with Wanda.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That was her. Okay, right on.
Because I was Friends before Seinfeld. I finished Friends, but when I finished Friends, I realized, wow, this is how I can move to something better than this, because it's very unique. And that's what I'm telling Patrick, and Patrick tell me Seinfeld. And now Seinfeld is wow. And watching more on the background, how they write the stories behind the scenes.
Right. Yeah, I love that stuff too.
It's like, I noticed in the beginning they start a joke and all the story is aligned to that joke in the beginning, and they finish with the joke in the beginning. That's
genius.
Man.
Yeah, brilliant.
What do you feel about those type of shows? Like Friends, Seinfeld, yeah. Sitcom.
I mean, I watched all of Friends when I was a kid, and watched it on reruns. I still watch Seinfeld. I love all those shows. Watch The Office.
Exactly, The Office.
Yeah, I love all that stuff. There's a British show called Spaced. that was Simon Pegg. You know Simon Pegg from
Maybe.
Shaun of the Dead?
I'm very bad with names. I'm very disrespectful with the artist
No.
word. I'm very bad with names.
Nah, they're not here. Don't worry about it. Simon Pegg's not here.
Yeah.
So that there's that. That's another like ensemble kind of thing. Yeah, I grew up on, TV raised me. We were watching Cheers and the Cosby Show and
I mean,
Blossom.
Those writers are in something. It's like
Yeah.
I think they are out of this world. Even Torrentino is like, wow, what do you take in the morning?
Yeah. I think he takes a little of himself, little full of him. No, he's great.
When I watch movies like Pulp Fiction, right? And I watch it like 9 times.
Right. Yeah.
And every time I learn something from that movie, and I learn something maybe for another perspective of life, but it's like
something like how to frame a story, like how to tell a story.
Yeah. And
what's your favorite Tarantino movie?
I think all of them.
Yeah,
all of them. I don't have like a preference because I'm very. And I have very hard for me select something like I like a thing of each one,
Right. Yeah.
So it's very hard to me.
What's a movie that you recently watched that you were like blown over by?
Aliens Romulus.
Oh yeah, that was good. I haven't seen it yet. I love Aliens, like the original Aliens. Have you seen that from the 80s?
Yeah.
Yeah, James Cameron. That's good
wow.
stuff.
Aliens Romulus. I was watching yesterday. It's like wow, they bring like the 80s feeling era again with Romulus. Yeah, I understand like in the 80s, in the 90s, I was I don't know. They have less distraction, like social media and shit.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
So they can like create more focus.
Yeah.
So nowadays
you were there
see
a little
movies. No, you see movies right now that more futuristic, more in the era of social media with the phones and
absolutely.
things like that. But I like the movies like they are not like technology wise, like a good story or maybe a love or comedy that you don't see like the technology around.
Right.
That's what I like. I like futuristic movies, but when you create something like it's not around, I appreciate more. What do you think?
I like all kinds of stuff. I like that too. I like because now you can solve almost any problem, like pick up the cell phone.
Yeah.
That, like in a movie in the 80s, like if they had cell phones, like 90% of the movies would have ended within 10 minutes because they could just make a call. And so, but I like all kinds of storytelling. I like Tarantino out of order storytelling. I like I kind of lost my train of thought there. I like all kinds of different stuff. I like stuff that crosses over boundaries. I like when you think you're watching one thing and then it turns out to be something else.
Yeah, I
like
know.
You're watching a movie that you think
one that I like is new like that, like outside boundaries is The Substance.
What's that?
The Substance is called.
The Soup Tense? Okay.
It's outside of this world too. It's from this year. It's from a French writer, a woman, and she directed that movie. It's like, wow.
Netflix?
I don't know where it's in I think it's in the movie theater still.
Okay.
So
Substance.
The Substance is very creative, very, very good, very unique.
Sci-fi?
I think a little bit.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be our material. When you see a movie that you say, "Oh, this is our material" because it's very unique. I think The Substance it is. So
I'll have to check it out.
Check it out.
Yeah. No, I love movies.
So, what is your favorite comedian?
My favorite comedian?
Or stand-up comedian?
That's a hard one.
What do you think about Seinfeld? He's a good one or not?
Oh yeah, he's
He's a legend.
Yeah, he's like top of the food chain.
Yeah, he's very good.
Yeah, he's great. He's still great. I like Dana Gould. He was a writer for The Simpsons. I like Dana Gould. I like Gary Gulman. I'm gonna name all my favorite comedians right now because I get to. guy named Zoltan Kazis, who's really great. Jordan Jensen is extremely funny. I like her a lot. Maria Bamford. I don't know. I'm just naming my favorite comedians.
Name a lot. I'm not gonna know, even if I watch it, because I'm very bad with names.
Yeah, I love a lot of comedians. There's a lot. I like I like almost everybody.
Who is your
does
Michael
comedy.
Jordan of?
My Michael Jordan?
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
I put you on the spot.
I don't know, man. I would say back in the day when I started doing comedy, and this was a long time ago. It was Louis C.K. And since then he's hit some allegations and whatnot, and so that was the guy who I saw, and I was like, oh man, I think I could do this. Not because I thought I could be as good as him, but it was the first time I'd ever seen anybody talking from a point of like just their life. They're not just telling jokes. And I was like, oh, that's how I think my brain works, you know?
So in 10 years that you work in the House of Blues, do you have a little bit hate from people? Like, the haters?
For me?
It can be.
I don't think so.
I have it. I have it here for my podcast. I have a few haters.
If you're doing something that people want to do and you won't let them do it, or they can't do it at the level that you're doing it at, that can offend people, I think.
Yeah.
I ran a show for 10 years. I don't think
so
I
you
have
don't
any,
deal with haters.
I don't think I have any enemies out there, but I mean, there's some people who probably don't like me. I can't think of any names.
How do you deal
But if I do, I'm going to comment on it in this video.
Well, how do you deal when you are an artist and, when you don't have friends that are artists or creative, and you don't want to be disrespectful for them because you love them the way they are.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes when you are in your craft and you don't have like the support of another creative people, how do you take like support when you are creating this book? Let me do an example. You are creating this book. You take opinions in the middle, or you don't take opinions? Who give you the opinions? Who do you accept opinions? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I had an editor on that book who was an old friend of mine named Travis.
Okay.
And he went through the whole book and, did the editing
The draft.
for me. Not the first draft, but the first draft that I was ready for people to read.
Yeah.
He was one of the first people to read that, and he went through and kind of corrected some mistakes and gave suggestions on story points, and he was somebody I could bounce ideas off of. So that was great. My partner went through and she read through it and gave some points, and I have those were the only two people who read the manuscript before it went out to anybody. I did reach out to a couple other people. Actually, I'm lying. I did have a couple more. There's a guy named Sam Talent who gave me a ton of pointers about self-publishing. He's a stand-up comedian. There's a buddy of mine named JT Haberset. He also looked through the thing and gave me some pointers. He's a stand-up comedian. Richard Douglas. I had a bunch of people.
You are telling me, because you go straight forward with them with the idea of the book. What I'm trying to tell you is like more in the social perspective. It's very hard for me as a creator, to be friends with everybody, because sometimes I like to be alone.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no,
but I don't want to be disrespectful. I want them to respect my space, but I don't know if it happened to you.
Do you have a family? You have kids? And all that? Okay. So you're talking about like at home when it's time?
No. Like sometimes I isolate.
At a party?
No, in a party, in life. Like I don't socialize a little bit for a few weeks because I'm working on something.
Yeah.
So it happened to you? Like don't answer messages, something like that? Like you go dark?
No, I don't go where you can't reach me. But I feel like I go dark.
You know what I'm trying to say or not?
I think so. I think when you're working on a creative project, sometimes you you're unavailable.
Yeah, I block everything.
Yeah.
Like I block anything that come new that I know I need to do, need to wait until I finish.
I think it just depends. With something like a book, it's something that you have to keep coming back to over and over again. So you do have to kind of figure out, because you're not going to sit down and write the book in one sitting, you know? So it's going to be something that you're going to have to come back to on a daily basis. And life just happens. So sometimes you have a few hours to work on it. Sometimes you have 20, 30 minutes to sit down while your juices are flowing. And yeah, you could use an hour or two, but you got to do something else. So I think it's just...
if a friend tell you, okay, stop what you're doing, come to have fun, you stop.
Well, not to have... I mean, I don't have a lot of friends who call me to have fun.
No, have fun.
I'm not
maybe
a
coffee, maybe a beer. I don't know what is your type of life, but if you are in your craft and somebody try to rip you off like a few moments, you ignore or you go?
I think if somebody's calling me on the phone and I'm in the middle of like... I'm in the zone and I'm writing and stuff, I don't pick up the phone.
Oh, okay, okay.
But I'll call them back. And if it's like, hey, can you meet me for a beer right now? I'll be like, no, I'm in the middle of something, but I can meet you later or whatever.
That's nice.
I don't think people try to... I'm pretty much a homebody anyway.
Yeah.
I kind of stay home unless I'm going out to do comedy or taking my kids to some event that they have to do. I don't really go out very much as it is.
So when you develop the book cover, how many cover was before this one? That is amazing.
I had that's had 3 different covers. I had a cover that came out with it when it was first released. I did a special edition cover for it when for this Comic-Con that I did a couple years back, and then that's the current and last cover. I believe I'll do it unless some other publisher picks up the book. Then
so you can always change it.
Yeah, I did everything for the book, so it's all
you
me.
can always change the cover if you want another idea. You can change it.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I can change it
amazing.
at any time.
So how difficult is publish a book?
It's not easy. It's not as hard as I thought it would be, but it's like setting up a podcast, you know. You're kind of learning as you go, you know. You get some mics, and then you're like, well, I need the mics I got to plug them into something, and then you want to add a video component. So it was just like that. Like I had to learn each new component. It's like, oh, I have to make a cover for this book, so I have to figure out the dimensions of the cover. Then I have to figure out how many pages are going to go in that book, as opposed to how many were written in like Microsoft Word. So it was just a bunch of like finding out how to do stuff, formatting,
and when you have your first copy in hand, do you feel like, wow, I do this?
Yeah, it was awesome. It's still awesome.
So how changed your life before, after the book?
Nothing. Nothing changed.
Nothing changed?
No. I just had a book.
You feel the
out.
same?
No, I feel accomplished. But it didn't fundamentally change.
For 1 year writing this book, you feel nothing?
No, I thought you meant, did it change my life?
No, in terms of maybe how many weeks you drop off, you know, because it's already out.
No, in fact, as soon as I finished it, I was like, oh no, I have to start another book from the beginning. Oh my
God.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I was hit with.
So this one that is coming is... Okay, what is this?
Those 2 are both out. I have a short story called Dog Years that's available at storyunlikely.com. That's storyunlikely.com, and you can get my story, Dog Years, and you use my promo code $1 Blanda to get it for $1.
Amazing. So the second one that you're writing is the sequel of this?
No, but I am working on a sequel to that one. The second one that I just signed a contract for my second book. So
you was telling me that out of camera.
Yeah, so my second book should be coming out. I'm hoping next year, at some point.
Next year is around the corner, baby.
So probably
it's like a few weeks.
Yeah,
or
probably
a few
towards
months.
the middle of the end of next year, if not 2026.
Okay.
But I think it's probably going to be next year. I don't want to give the title or anything.
No, don't give me nothing.
Yeah, I don't have anything that I can say about it.
Don't give me nothing. But with this cover, do you imagine this cover, or you the artist make it to you?
No, I did that.
You do it yourself?
Yeah, I did it. It's just it's some Photoshop and some.
But you tell me you don't like to sketch.
I didn't sketch any of it. It's all computer stuff. Like I
Okay.
did it. It's images and like I said, Photoshop and
Everything. You do everything.
Yeah,
The letters.
I designed
The moon.
everything. I designed the
But-
whole thing.
So you are good in Photoshop.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good smashing pictures together and editing things together, and
And what about the dark, white, black?
because one reason is because it's easy to just put stuff on black,
Yeah.
and then have
that's
the whole
one.
thing black and
Yeah,
not worry
that's
about
good.
where the margins and stuff are. But it's a horror comic, or it's a horror book, so there's like there's a lot of dark stuff in there. But I think it's also like it's got a lot of like, I wanted it to kind of have like a Indiana Jones kind of feel to it
Yeah.
too. Like you're going on an adventure, you're meeting people, you want these characters to succeed, and you fall in love with their relationship, and you get sad when something tragic happens for or to them. So that's what I wanted for it. I just wanted it to be a really gripping story.
Do you think this is a movie material?
I mean, yeah, I would love it
Yeah.
to be a movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love it to be a movie. And I still own the rights that you can buy to option High Moon by Leon Blanda.
So what you're doing here in Slidell, you was telling me something.
I'm producing a comedy show in Slidell
For the theater?
for
For the little theater?
No, it's for St. August Maison.
What is that?
That's in Old Town, right by
Old Town.
the old bicycle shop.
Okay.
My buddy owns it. My buddy Jeremy owns St. August Maison. They got a beautiful plant-based menu. They got a gorgeous bar with like like antique furniture.
Oh.
It's just beautiful. The whole place is beautiful. The bar's amazing. They have that. They have the plant-based restaurant in there. There's also Dean Asco's that used to be in Old Town. They own a space in there too. So they have an option for another. If you don't want plant-based, they have another restaurant in there too. But we do a comedy show there. It's called Jokes. And
You already start.
yeah, we did one last month. We're doing another one on the 22nd
So
of this
one
month.
monthly.
Yep. And tickets, you can still buy tickets at leonblanda.com if this comes out before then. If not, you can buy tickets for the next one there. So yeah, it's a monthly show. I'll bring in 3 or 4 comedians who are like, you may recognize them from TV. Even if you don't, they're like really phenomenally talented comics. And they'll come out. We'll do a show. People will
And
enjoy
you bring
it.
your book or not?
I bring the book. You can buy a copy of the book there. And
Amazing. It's sad for me that I'm not like some jokes are with hard words in English.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't enjoy the joke because maybe I don't understand some words.
Yeah, you don't get the it
The real
references
perspective.
some other. Yeah,
it happened
yeah.
to me with Seinfeld. In Seinfeld, they have a lot of jokes that are from that era
Yeah.
that are happening in the real world. And I'm lost because,
Dude, people could be making fun of me to my face in Spanish, and I wouldn't be able to
No.
tell. I mean,
No.
they could say whatever they want.
I understand
So the fact
English.
that you understand any jokes
yeah,
is amazing.
but some words that are very, very English
Yeah.
because English is very difficult.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I'm glad I learned it from a young age.
No, but even for you, it's difficult because, you say son,
No.
son,
Yeah,
song. It's 3 words and it's almost the same. Like
Yeah.
the son of the sky,
Yeah.
my son, my song,
Yeah.
or sing. What is that?
yeah. No, yeah.
It's
one of the-
difficult.
I can't. That's what I'm saying. If I didn't learn it when I was a baby, I don't think I would have
I
picked
don't
it
know
up.
how they teach you.
It wasn't fun or easy.
I see a comedian in social media. He do the jokes about that. Like he's like teaching the words
Uh-huh.
to himself.
Right.
Like he put the words on the board.
Phonetically, like how you're supposed to
Exactly.
say it. Yeah, yeah.
You watch him.
I've seen somebody do that. Yeah, I don't know if it's the same dude.
It's
but yeah.
like he said, no,
yeah,
it's not like that.
yeah, yeah,
It's amazing.
yeah. I can't imagine what I like. I don't. How long have you been speaking English?
I start like in 2012. I decide like I want to learn. So I rent in Video Avenue. You remember Video Avenue?
No.
Blockbuster.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Video
Yeah.
Avenue.
Okay, right on.
You remember
Yeah,
Video
yeah,
that
yeah.
you rent the movies?
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
rent Entourage, the
Okay.
TV show.
Okay.
And I put in English with with subtitles, and it was hard. So I put the subtitles in English,
Yeah.
and forced me stop, pause, stop. I start to read English with
You
the
taught
Entourage.
yourself to speak English from watching Entourage?
Yeah.
That's amazing, dude.
And then I started watching every movie in English with English subtitles, and that's how I learned.
Dude, that's incredible.
Why?
'Cause
It's not
it's ju-
incredible. I still struggling.
But you're not. Like, we're communicating. And
No,
you're,
I know,
Like,
but-
if I were to, like, I know I keep saying this, but if I were to attempt to communicate with you
It's
in your
Spanish.
native tongue, like, you'd be like, you just have to hold up your keys and, like, shake them in front of my face because I wouldn't understand what the fuck you're saying.
Yeah, I
you know?
learned with Entourage.
That's awesome.
And
dude.
then I watched
That-
Breaking Bad. Boom.
Oh, that's good ways to learn. And you learned how to make meth. That's awesome.
No, Breaking Bad, it was brutal. Oh my god, that
To
was
learn?
amazing. No,
Oh, yeah. Watching
when I
it?
reached Breaking Bad, when I finished Entourage, I already learned a lot
Jeez, dude.
because in that,
That's so impressive, man.
I don't know. It's like very, I don't know. It's somebody you see in the movie, like opening the door and you see the action of the word, you learn more faster. If I start to read a book in English, I don't understand. It's gonna be hard for me, but if I see the action of the words in a TV show or movie, for me
Right.
it's easy because I can relate what is happening. Even it happened to me with other languages.
That's brilliant.
If I put
That's
like
awesome.
another language, I like international movies. Oh, I love it. Like international movies, they have a lot of talents. And I put it in the language, and it's very hard. But sometimes I catch up something because it repeat in the movie something. But can I say now? No, because I need to watch it to learn. Like I want to learn.
That's
I
incredible.
want to learn Chinese. I want to learn like Hebrew. I have friends that speak Hebrew, and it's very hard for me sometimes. But I want to learn Hebrew before anything, and then maybe Chinese. But I need to put my work to that because it's very hard.
I have faith in you.
I know. I'm young. I can do it. I still do it.
Yeah, your brain's
You're
still
still
flying.
young. Would you tell me you don't travel, and that's hard? Why you don't travel?
I just didn't when I was younger.
So you
would,
did it.
I would like.
So
to
you was
more.
in a plane.
I have, yeah. I've been to New York. I've been.
No, I'm
in a
joking.
plane. No, but no, I haven't.
Some people who drive.
I didn't get into a plane until I was in my 30s.
Okay.
I had never been in a plane before then.
So maybe because you was a stand-up comedian, you have like Tuesday and Thursday, so you was luck.
Yeah,
So you
and I
don't
mean,
have-
I drive on tour. You know, we
Yeah.
tour like this area, the southeast, and like I said, I took a plane and gone to Oklahoma and New York and then.
So
gigs
you're
out
not
there.
afraid of planes.
I am deathly. I hate them.
So that's real.
Yo, yeah, that's real. I hate planes.
So that's why maybe you don't
Oh,
like
that's
the
why I
idea.
didn't get on one until I was
So
in
what
my
about
30s.
cruise?
Oh no, that just doesn't appeal to me. I don't want to
Cruise?
a cruise. Yeah, stuck out on the ocean. What if you got what if the boat goes down?
Oh my God.
There's no other boat.
What
You're in the
hap-
middle of the ocean.
You don't feel it.
No, you don't feel it until the water comes up. And you're like,
No,
it's starting to get wet.
You watching Titanic too many times.
No, I've never seen Titanic. Either.
Oh my God.
I've never seen the movie Titanic.
That's very
Don't
disrespectful.
tell me how it ends. Don't tell me how it ends.
disrespectful. You don't see Titanic?
I haven't seen it. I love James
Wow.
Cameron. I just didn't. And now it's been so many years. Like it's like a badge of honor. It's like, nope, I've never seen that movie.
Yeah, keep it like that.
Yeah.
So you don't like those big transportation things.
I don't like flying. I
And
definitely don't.
cruise
I think
either.
I'd be fine on a
What
cruise.
about driving?
I'm fine driving. I like driving.
Fine.
Driving's fine.
Don't
Yeah.
dangerous for you.
I mean, I'm sure it's dangerous, but I don't.
What create this trauma?
Oh, I don't know. I
Is
thought this
something
wasn't
there?
therapy. You said this wasn't therapy.
Yeah, this something I need to know
I
because
don't
it's
know,
something
man.
there.
Fear, just fear. Fear manifests in all kinds of ways.
Oh my God.
Just a deathly fear.
So what is your favorite place that you want to visit outside the United States, but you definitely not gonna go?
Oh no, I want to go. I'm gonna have to make myself, or I'll die first.
Yeah,
One of those things
yeah.
will happen. There's plenty of places, man. I'd like to go down to Mexico and South America. I'd like to go to.
But Mexico,
Canada.
you can drive.
Yeah, it's
Canada, you can drive.
I know.
No, give me
You're
outside.
Right. No, he's right. I don't need to get on a plane.
Give me outside.
No, I'm saying I'd like to go to those places, but I mean, I want to go to I want to go to England. I'd like to go to Ireland and Italy and Greece and
okay, that Europe.
Egypt. I'd like to see Egypt.
So to go, they need to put you in a chair, like sleep you, and you go.
That would be nice. Yeah, and they don't show me the plane. They just load my limp body on the plane. They fly me over there. They push me off onto the carriage that brings the.
Everybody have a weakness.
Yeah, I hate planes. I mean, I'm gonna have to fly.
So how many hours is your longest flight?
Whatever New York was. I don't.
From
remember.
where? From here?
From New Orleans, yeah.
Like 2 hours, almost 3, and that was the longest, and you was dying inside.
No, because my partner at the time, who has flown many times, had a crazy reaction, and she was really nauseous and sick. So I was kind of worried about her.
So you were distracted.
Yeah, I was a little distracted, and I just try not to think about that we're
so that's Trisha?
so high on the ground, off the ground.
Who's Trisha?
That's my partner.
Yeah,
Trisha.
And Elliot, you told me was the person who to help you to
no
edit?
Travis, Elliot, and Wilder.
So Travis is not.
No, he's listed in the thank yous in the back.
So
that's the dedication, though. That's to my kids and my partner.
So Trisha was vomiting.
I don't remember if she vomited, but she was pretty damn close.
Nauseous.
Yeah, she wasn't enjoying herself.
You know, I'm enjoying this so much, this conversation, that I forget that I have many before I start. I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm very glad. I'm very proud of you. I'm out of words with your talents. I'm crazy to read this. I give you feedback. Oh my God, he have expression and everything.
There's a little bit of Spanish in there too, so you can tell me if it's wrong. Because there's a character.
You know, I never read something like fiction. This is gonna be the first time that I'm gonna read fiction.
Oh wow, man, that's really.
I always read like
that means
something that I can apply to life. You know, people maybe selling, maybe marketing, maybe something that I really apply, psychological.
Yeah.
But never fiction. I don't know why. Maybe because I prefer TV shows and movies. Maybe. Yeah. What fiction book do you read a lot?
I read as much as I can. I'm a slow reader and I get distracted a lot, and I'm a slow writer and I get distracted a lot.
So I read like 10 pages a day. That's good.
Yeah, I think if you
healthy.
read anything, that's what they say. 10 pages a day.
If the story is good, I continue like maybe more. I don't even feel it. But some people read a book in a day. How you can do it? A book in a day.
I think they just
too much coffee.
Maybe. Yeah. My like I said, my partner's like that. She can read 2 or 3 books in a day. She's super. I mean, if she really wants to,
or something. That's Trisha.
Yeah.
Trisha.
You
need to share the secret. I wish I can read 1 book in a day.
They have this thing that you can do.
It's a method.
Yeah, where you can just look at the first couple of letters of the word and kind of put it. But I
can read faster. But in a book, I cannot do it because I want to get very inside.
I have to agonize over.
But if I'm
word.
reading another thing, like I don't care, I can read and I process it. But a book, I cannot do it.
Yeah.
Like, can I go? Wow, a book in a day.
Yeah.
Trisha.
Me neither. I can't either.
Coffee, black coffee that she drinks.
I think she just loves reading. She's been reading since she was a kid. Oh my God.
So, where people can follow you? What is your next event? What is your next thing? What is your next everything that you want to share with the people?
Well, you can find everything at leonblanda.com. That's LeonBlanda.com. I'm at Leon Blanda on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. On November 22nd at St. August Maison, if you're in Slidell, we have a live stand-up comedy show. Please come out to that show. You can get tickets early at leonblanda.com. Because if you show up late,
the price go up.
Tickets go up. Yes, so come out to the show. Or tell a friend if you don't want to come out to the show. Tell a friend to come out because it's a fun night. It's a good date night, and it's in Slidell. You don't have to drive across the lake.
You know, Leon Blanda, who don't speak Spanish and Italian, he scores with a name that is Spanish and Italian.
I know.
But you have a Peter.
I do.
So Peter is your father.
I do have a Peter. You called it.
But you know, Leon is Leon.
I know.
Like a lion.
Yep.
So Leon, Peter, Blanda. Blanda is like, I don't know, it can be Spanish, Italian, but the Peter is amazing. I think you're an amazing person, Leon, and I wish you the best.
I feel the same. I think this is. Right?
I think you was telling me in the beginning like you are old for some things, but you are young. You're gonna continue develop skills. You're gonna continue your peak. Your peak is not never end.
I hope so.
I wish you the best. Thank you for coming. And like I say, I'm very proud of you, and I wish I can read this before 2025.